This podcast is brought to you by Sri Kandi Associates.
Looking for your first matrimonial house? Planning to upgrade? Look no further.
For your property matters, contact Sri Kandi Associates at 8788-3559 8788-3559.
And follow them on Instagram at srikandi.associates.
Yes, Sri Kandi, selling solutions, not promises. Hey, welcome back to another episode of OUTSIDEIN.
Your go-to source for honest conversations about relationships and new.
So if you are ready, let's go.
Hai guys, apa khabar semua? Selamat kembali kepada lagi satu episod OUTSIDEIN di Bergez. So hari ni kita ada kita punya Sri Kandi Associates.
Yes. So the last time around when we had them on our episode, it was Ira and Ira.
Yes.
This time around pula it's
Liza and Lia.
Lia or Liza and Lia.
Boleh lah.
Kan macam nama-nama diorang kan very similar. Ira, Lia, Liza.
First time kita jumpa macam
mana satu yang mana?
Lia, Liza. Susah.
Yeah. So today of course as kita buat last month kan, we want to get to know our Sri Kandis more deeper lah.
Betul. So hari ni diorang ada cerita panas actually. Actually tak panas sangat lah. Kita nak tahu pasal the difference between keluarga yang ada maid dengan keluarga yang tak ada maid.
Actually I would like to use the word helper.
Helper. Okay.
Yeah.
Kita pakai
pasal kan
word
sekarang dah woke generation kan. Tak boleh sembarang kata.
Minta maaf, helper.
Dorang
subtle sikit.
Yes,
helper.
Dorang bantu kita kat rumah. Helper.
Yes. So you dulu you ada helper tak?
Ada. I grew up with plenty of helpers yang bertukar-tukar.
I think that's normal kan?
Yang the thing about what I realise is when we have a good one, one yang macam boleh vibe gitu kan, I can stay for many years. I pernah ada yang beberapa hari tukar. So macam-macam lah cerita yang kita pernah melalui sebagai seorang budak yang growing up with different helpers.
How old were you when you had the helper?
From young, very young.
Tak, when I was primary 3.
Oh, primary 3.
Primary 2. Because at that time my parents were both working, and then my younger sister was born. So siapa nak jaga? Then at that time also I think both my grandparents were already in their very elderly stage, so they couldn't look after them like how they look after me and my the other sister. So we had to engage a helper for helper.
So that means the age gap between you and your sister?
1 year.
My younger sister was 8 years.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So
Okay.
yeah. So that time I was primary 3 lah. Primary 3 primary 2. Yeah. So kita pula nak tolong jaga adik pun tak mampulah, tak pandai kan.
For me pula, I tak pernah ada helper. So it's always my mum lah. I tak ada experience dengan helper.
So kita then for yourself, siapa yang ada helper, siapa yang tak ada?
Lia yang ada helper.
Lia.
For me, when I grew up, it's like my mother is the my mother is the one who look after us lah, because we have a big family. So there's 6 of us actually. So my father is the sole breadwinner, so my mother is a housewife.
Okay.
So but when I got married, so things are different lah, because we have to stay in our own house. So that's where it's like depends whether your husband nak hantar childcare, I mean infant care ke apa tu, or have a helper. But the preference was more to help having a helper at home.
Okay.
Yeah, because kalau child care ke infant care tu pun it will be too long outside.
Faham.
Yeah.
For almost a whole day lah kan.
Exactly. Until like 7 PM I heard, right? Yeah.
The
In that
latest.
case
Any later than that kena bayar extra.
Penalty
But I
lah.
mean you can fetch them early lah if you want to, depending on what time you finish work kan.
Right.
Correct. So for my side, we prefer to have helper, but it wasn't easy, definitely, to get the right one, because
Tukar-tukar juga
Tukar-tukar juga. Yes, I have that problem as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Apakah masalah?
Masalah banyak. It's like
we can delve deeper into that.
Boleh bunuh diri tak? Fikir pasal
bunuh diri.
Because there's like a lot of helper horror stories kan. Neighbor aku kat bawah tukar-tukar helper, so it's like it's scary
can
lah.
relate to me lah, because I think my initial state macam my anak was a baby, I also change quite a number. Yeah, it can be like 3 months then tukar pun ada. Ada macam gitu.
Probation period 3 months gitu lah.
Actually kalau orang complete 1 year tu pun kira dah bagus.
Okay.
Thinking of it. But of course lah, if can complete 2 years, that is the best lah.
Because the contract is usually 2 years, is it?
2 years contract. Then after that, sometimes they want to extend another year. Then you have to pay insurance for another year lah. If you want to extend 1 more year.
Okay.
So for you, your intention of getting the helper is for your kids, is it? To
Yes, correct.
jaga your kids.
Yeah, because back then I was working full time, so nobody's at home basically.
To look after your child.
Correct.
Okay.
And we don't want to stand to infant care lah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so bila because now we are talking about the difference between ada helper dengan tak ada helper kan. So kalau ada helper tu, in your experience, does it help ke your untuk jaga your anak-anak? Then do you have more time with your husband ke macam mana? Does it help?
It depends how you look at it, because once kita dah balik pun we will still look after our own kids end of the day, because it's like long hours really at work, and at that age you really miss them lah. So when you come back, you really look forward to play with them.
Dah rindu kan satu hari kat luar, nak tengok baby tu lagi kan.
Betul.
Correct.
Betul.
But from what I understand kan, dulu punya, maybe like my time when I was younger, dia punya helper punya job scope is different than that of the current day and age. Because back then I think helper can, if you engage an helper, if you engage a helper, she can practically do everything in the house. But sekarang, I think kalau kita engage helper, correct me if I'm wrong, you can only do one of the 3 things. Ada you nak jaga rumah, nak jaga anak, ataupun you nak tolong masak and things like that. Is it? Ada specific
I think depends lah. Because for my case, kalau kita dah ajar orang masak, if they really know what to do, we give them the dish. Apa-apa barang kita dah beli, or some of them they ask the helper to buy lah. But for me, I'm the one who buy the groceries lah. I never get the helper to or pass them any money to go down to buy. So I'm the one who do it. So kalau you dah train, orang dah tahu, let them be lah. Unless the difficult one, then kita masuk campur lah.
Right, faham.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Because I think something to do with I think I feel more comfortable also if let's say I handle the groceries lah, untuk masak-masak kat rumah, and then you give the groceries. Okay, you panggil your helper dulu apa, Bibi. Bibi tolong masak ni, things like that kan. But
correct.
That was me growing up lah.
I think the ruling change, right? Yang for MOM, you must give them off days or something.
Yes,
like
that mandatory off day was, I think this year in fact. Before that, all my helpers tak pernah ada off day.
They didn't request for off day.
They didn't request, so you have to pay them lah. The off in lieu lah, they call it. So but this year memang kena. Yeah, but I know some employers still the helper still probably helper kat rumah tapi tak buat kerja lah.
Right.
Consider the off day lah.
Off day duduk kat rumah lepak
I heard of that
some
cases
prefer that way, no? Macam they want to mingle, they just prefer to do their own things, then just relax lah.
Got some helpers like that. Tapi yang normally they request for 1 day off lah. At least they can de-stress lah.
Right. Get out of the house lah. Kalau tak macam kat rumah je kan.
I mean, they are still human, they still need interaction.
Correct.
But not every owner or dia punya employer likes it lah kan.
Correct. Depends on the employer juga.
Faham. I think the most important thing kita nak kena, I think one thing that I feel the difference now is that everyone is socially connected now.
Yes,
compared
correct.
to,
The phone usage.
Yes. So macam growing up, my bibi lah, I don't recall them having handphones. Pasal kita back then belum ada handphone. I think I only had a handphone probably like later like
Correct.
So like for them they send letters home and things like that. So I think for them to really want to de-stress, I really have to go out. But yeah, my helper that time tak minta day off. Mungkin for the money.
Pasal that time tak compulsory. Only I think this year.
Pasal banyak macam case of abuse.
Dah terlalu banyak.
MOM will like backup dah. Tapi tak tahulah
how backup, tapi tak apa human rights.
Yes, that's the word.
Then for Liza pula, you tak ada helper because you don't want to, or
for me, I prefer to do things my own way.
Okay.
So for me, kalau ada helper, right, then that's like another person to jaga, how the person behave and all that. But I know if I have a helper, it will help to lighten up my housework lah. But for me kan, I think I'm quite particular about cleanliness and all that. So if the person tak buat betul, then nanti macam I myself not happy, you see. So I rather do it myself. Then I puas sendiri lah. So and then at the same time, so at that time I didn't work, you see. I was a stay home mother lah. Because I quit my previous job kan. Then I stayed home because the kids were still small. Then I told myself, okay, I give my time now to them, dah besar sikit, then I go back to work. Yeah, so lepas tu dah stay at home for about 8 to 10 years gitu. Yeah, it taught me a lot of things lah. Boleh jadi gila, because you're all alone handling. But it taught you patience lots and lots of patience. Yeah, you look at things at a different angle. Things that you think you're very particular about, you tend to macam let go. You know, you try to be a more patient person lah basically.
But how you find your me time? That means that
itulah dia. Me time dia is when they tidur. So that's why I told my kids, okay, by 9 o'clock you all masuk bilik, tidur, you know. After that, just me time at night, watch Netflix ke, then, you know, just scroll whatever, social media, just to keep myself updated lah. Because my group of friends pun, diorang pun some kerja, some tak kerja. So I cannot relate to everyone. Diorang pun ada their own family life, you see. Yeah, so we will only contact each other macam once in a while lah. Yeah, so sometimes at that time, I rely a lot on food delivery. Because my husband is always away. So sometimes I cook, but if I'm too tired kan, then lepas tu I will just call in. And the funny thing is, even when the rider comes, I'm very happy, you know, because that's my first point of contact. Human touch, you know. That's how bad it is lah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Macam last time we can just open the door and just talk to the rider. Now it's like contactless, right? So back then 2013, it was still macam okay, buka, ambil food, and you can see the rider what. Macam hi bye pun I happy. You know, because you don't talk to anybody, you see. Yeah, so you can have all this stress in your brain till actually you think you're okay tau. But actually when I thought about it back, I'm macam okay, I should have like reach out for help Yeah, so maybe it's just me keras kepala lah kan back then macam okay, I know I can do it, I can do everything myself.
You want to prove everybody wrong gitu lah.
Macam because like I want to I want to discipline my kids, but you know when a lot of inputs are given, then macam it distract the parenting methods and all that. So yeah, all this
So, do you think kalau you ada helper dulu, it will help?
Yes and no. Macam if I have a helper, at least I have some me time. I can go with my husband. Yeah, and all that. So all that will affect You know, sometimes macam dah tak ada me time, tak ada couple time, then you will tend to fight. You know, you will tend to argue pasal kids, you know, disagreements and all that.
Then pasal house chores macam mana?
House chores you have to delegate You know, you must say okay, I want you to do this, I need you to do this. You cannot macam okay, automatic you must do this. Sometimes like what you said that time, right? Men, you must tell what they want, right? You cannot just assume you do this. So you will just macam make yourself angry, you know. Macam my expectation is as such, but you never do it.
Macam you nak dia auto tapi dia tak auto.
Yes, correct. So that's why I tell myself, speak up. You know, have a healthy discussion. You know, have like what's that word? Agree to disagree. We don't need to debate. We don't need to end up in a fight, a quarrel. You know, we can have a healthy conversation. Then as years pass by, then I feel macam okay, it's much better because you discuss. If you don't discuss, you tahan je dalam hati dan you simpan
it's always that the first few initial stages of you trying that discussion phase yang
correct.
Definitely akan ada the friction punya pasal masih belum dapat the same frequency lagi kan.
You thought macam you have been with that person for very long, you understand tau. Tapi when it comes to marriage and children, it's another level. Your understanding macam you dah like kahwin another person, you know. You just change overnight, you know. Macam when I look at myself macam okay, I wasn't like that back then, you know. Maybe I was the fun type, but now macam okay, I'm a mother, then macam that fun is no longer there. But I always tell myself, you must go back to who you were when you met your husband. You know, to rekindle the relationship If not, it will just die down. So must make time
That's what we always advocate for also Dia macam kita fikir kita dah dengan orang ni for years they should know what they should know. No, they don't know.
Until now I'm still learning, you know, about my husband. Macam you like this, I didn't know. I married in 2011 tau. Now dah berapa tahun sih?
14 years 13 years 13 years
There's still a lot of things that I'm discovering As you get older, maybe things change.
Change is the only constant kan. Definitely what we like probably 3 years ago sekarang dah tak suka. Then nak tukar lagi dia punya wavelength dia.
Correct.
And also yang tadi Liza cakap pasal why she doesn't want to have a helper, right? I think right, my mom is exactly like that. Dia macam dia tak percaya orang untuk buat untuk bersihkan rumah.
Trust issues lah.
Trust issues. So basically dia bilang I kan, Ara, nanti Ara dah besar, you have to know how to clean your own house. You have to be very rapi. So
Your mother OCD?
yeah.
Yes, sama.
So kalau pun nanti you dah kahwin, you ada helper, helper you tak boleh nak katakan toyu. Nanti macam he's very particular, right? So macam corok-corok semua must make sure clean,
Correct.
Yeah. So if your helper macam buat macam 6:30 punya job kan, you will know. If you don't know how to clean your own house, you wouldn't know that is not clean.
I mean dengan husband dia pun dia beli kan. Lipat baju tu macam mana?
Tak lah, mana orang cakap macam tu.
Got own style lah.
I dah pernah lipat kan. You lipat seluar dalam je lah. Loh.
Yeah, I sudah lipat.
That's a way that you fall, right?
Yeah.
Memang need lah. Tapi dalam opinion I kan, this is my defense mechanism. Bila dah lipat tu, kita masuk dalam gerobok, tak nampak apa. So
Tapi I
itulah.
saw.
Yes, faham.
Okay, then that's where I want to tanya Lia pula. What were your challenges having a helper that you face?
Okay, for example, like I mentioned, kena tukar-tukar jugalah during the initial stage lah, which is not easy because I was also working. Then you have to train the helper as well. So to train the helper, so when you want to teach them, you have to teach all over again. So it will take at least macam 1 bulan juga makan masa untuk nak ajar orang masak ke, how your style of cleaning the house ke, what you want them to clean in the toilet ke. Pasal toilet pun actually adalah cara-caranya. You see, it can be like some of them can clean within like 10 minutes. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, same lah, same. At that time I bersihkan, dah bersih. Nanti lepas tu dia
Spot check kan?
dia spot
Kena spot check.
This one husband, kalau I rasa I ada helper kan, helper I merana. So I rather not lah. I just macam I kesiankan dia. Jadi macam tak apalah, I buat sendiri.
To me I will clean, nampak bila buka pintu nampak bersih. Nanti tapi dia akan pakai berus gigi yang
lagi. Yes.
gini semua. Asal you macam gitu? Nanti kan kotor. Orang tak nampak. Yelah. Happy
As
wife
long as
happy
you
life.
see, right?
Tapi itulah.
So definitely lah, there's challenges lah. Like I mentioned, you have to teach them all over again. Kalau nak kena tukar lain, nak kena ajar lagi. That 1 month is very crucial.
Right.
Yeah, to train. Even though they got their own training, but in your house you have your own style lah. Like mentioned. Yeah, that's the
So
thing.
of course when you engage a helper tu, the main intention is to alleviate your house chores and
whatever
your
it is.
struggles in the house lah, in a sense. Yeah. But how then because how then would you say that would you consider it an important aspect in your marriage sekarang? Macam mana?
Okay, for me, I find it might be a necessary because if you have helper to ease your burden at home, you might have more time to sit down with the kids to revise their homework, nak revise, especially if exams coming up. You have more time for that, But if you don't have a helper, that means your time will be eat up to do other household things. There's pros and cons lah. Yeah, I mean on top of having tuition for the kids, but sometimes we also need to sit down with them.
The connection.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, I mean I think one of the things that I would say is having a helper also, me growing up, right, definitely I see my parents more free in terms of dia punya cara, how they go about the house lah. Pasal bila, for example, if I were to remember back dah balik kerja, rumah dah siap, dah bersih, makan dah ada, anak-anak dah terjaga. So the time spent is my father or my mother will sit with me. Homework ada tak?
That's the difference lah.
You have more energy lah.
Tak payah nak risau.
Yeah, but we also hear stories of like some stories the kid is closer to the baby than the own mom.
Oh yeah, I
Ada
heard
cerita
that as
macam tu
well.
juga kan.
They even call the baby mak,
Yeah.
Yeah, so macam imagine the mother, ouch, kan, panggil own baby
Tu
mother.
macam dengar kadang-kadang nenek pun orang panggil mak. Some of them.
Kan?
Macam mana figure gitu.
Correct.
So I think tu dia depend on the bibik too much lah sampai
raise the child.
Probably, yes.
So that, I would say that is one of the I would say not con but a disadvantage kalau kita serahkan segalanya kepada bibik untuk jaga rumah.
Right. But I think maybe that baby might be very long with the same household lah. I
maybe
suspect. That's why. Tapi kalau tukar-tukar every 2 years, I don't think that's a
The connection.
the connection is there.
Itu juga.
Yeah, because just fun fact, my the last baby that I had, one of the last baby that I had, came back to look after my sister's punya anak.
Oh, that's nice.
Because
So,
we grew close and then we kept in touch and things like that. So, and everyone in my family like her. So my aunties engaged her for 2 years, and then my another auntie engaged her.
Oh, it's within the family.
Yeah.
Transfer.
Very lucky lah. At least you get a nice
very lucky.
helper, you know. Yeah, very rare to get.
Very rare.
Also, I don't have a helper, but my cousin has a helper. So I was very close with her. Is close with her. So last time I always go there, sleep over and all lah. So I also macam dekat jugalah dengan bibik tu. But I remember as we got older and older and older kan, dia stay dengan that family for quite a long time. I can't remember, but throughout her teen years sampai dah besar masih dengan bibik tu lah. But then suddenly just one day kan, this bibik just macam cakap I think she rindu her kids and her hometown so much sampai dia punya mental terganggu.
Okay.
Then lose focus in her work, is it?
Lose focus, macam dia masih buat kerja lah, tapi boleh nampak dia macam kadang-kadang dia
In a daze gitu.
Dia daydream, tidur pun macam ngigau-ngigau. So I feel like
Kesian pula
it's not easy for them also actually, all these helpers.
Considering we have to put ourselves in their shoes. Kita ni we are going away from our families into a stranger's home. We're gonna stay there. Itu tempat kerja tu, tempat tidur kita.
Correct.
Macam ibarat kalau I suruh you put myself sure I kerja with my office, I tidur kat office, I bangun tempat sama juga. Mandi kat toilet.
Macam tu lah. macam Liza, you kan housewife for 8 to 10 years kan. Macam kalau bibik tu helper tu with our family for that long, boleh gila juga lah macam you.
Masa tak gila masih okay ni. For property matters, I'm still okay. So don't be scared.
Yes. Sri Kandi Associates.
Tergagak.
Oh yeah, I still remember that it's very macam core memory lah, because she became a totally different person.
Right.
Not to say macam dia dah tak buat kerja betul-betul ke apa, but it's just her mental lah. Macam
But like that,
kesian.
masa the 8 years, during the 8 years, ada macam ada balik 2 minggu ke?
I think ada.
Ada juga.
It's just being age factor.
Age factor maybe.
Yeah, but you definitely gonna miss quite a bit of milestones kan, if you think back.
But also, okay, this one is just my personal punya opinion lah. One of the reasons why I don't want, kalau boleh lah, tak nak cakap don't want lah, but mana tahu in the future ada kan.
Mungkin perlu
But one of the reasons I sekarang ni tak nak a helper is because pendirian I ni, macam if a stranger comes into my house, I feel very uncomfortable.
I think that's normal lah.
Yeah.
It's just that you have to adapt to it. Some things that you have to let go, but the things we don't want to let go. That's the problem.
Dia macam ibarat kita ada company, lepas tu kita nak hire someone to help with the producing, editing video. You pun tak nak apa, kasi orang.
Because you know you can do it, right?
Yeah. I know I can do it. InsyaAllah.
Lepas tu nanti penat sendiri, complain.
You pakatkan telinga je.
So that's the part I told myself, okay, if you want to do, you better don't complain. You do it. That's the part that I've learned lah. You want to do, you do. Just don't complain after that.
It really is. There's no right or wrong lah kan. But it really goes to show that no matter what decision kita buat, mesti akan ada dia punya pros and cons dia. Kita nak buat ni, mesti ada ni. Kita nak buat ni, mesti ada ni.
Ada helper ke tak ada helper ke, ada pros and cons juga.
But what would you say is your biggest fear in having a helper? Okay, let's say we ask Liza, what is your, let's say you were to have a helper, what would be your biggest fear?
You know, you heard cases of abuse. You know, they simpan gambar anak-anak. You know, then bawa balik pergi Indonesia or Philippines. You know, because my husband used to have a maid when he was small, like you.
Okay.
Then he told me horror stories. Then that's also part of the reason why he didn't want to have a helper. Because he already experienced it himself when he was small. Dia cakap maid tu bawa balik gambar dia. Tu sebab tak tahu apa lah dia buat dengan gambar tu, dah balik Indonesia. But so far my husband okay lah. Tak kena santau ke, tak kena apa ke, you know, things that they can do. So that's partly of then for me, macam I read all the news, orang cakap they neglect the anak, you know, they are at home doing the housework, then bukannya jaga betul-betul. That's all the reason lah.
These are the bad apples lah.
Yes,
kan?
correct.
Tapi honestly ada juga bila dulu I masih kerja, bila I balik, is always kan I balik around the time yang the kids balik sekolah. So selalunya nanti bibik, I don't know lah, this one I don't know what race, but bibik dia angkat bag dengan phone, jalan, lepas tu anak dekat belakang.
quite common actually.
Yeah. They don't hold their hands, you see. Then the kid can just dash
Correct.
through the traffic. Kalau
Very
kita langgar what, you know.
But then like Yan said again lah, macam those are the bad apples,
bad apples
lah.
lah.
Kita
Not
tak
all
nampak yang baik.
helpers
Not
are
all.
bad.
Betul.
Like I mentioned, I had a good helper kan, who
Yeah,
became a
correct,
family friend.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, this is a natural thing, not just about bibis, but I think in every situation pun there will always be the bad apples that paints a negative picture. Pasal kalau dalam maths kan, negative times positive become negative, so we are overwhelmed by the negativity.
I know one more reason why I takut nak ada bibik. Because he is too nice. Nanti
I
bibik
knew
satu
you were
hati
gonna say
dengan dia.
Faham.
I tak boleh percaya. Tak lah. But it's not a bad thing. He is he's nice to everybody.
He's a nice guy.
He's a nice.
Kira kalau bibik tidur banyak, I mean throughout the day tidur banyak pun dia tak marah lah.
Marah dengan I lah, tapi dengan bibik tu tak babi. Gitu. Gitu.
Ada story tau, bibik kahwin dengan employer tau.
Kan lagi aku tak nak.
Sis, dah gini sis.
Example. InsyaAllah takkan jadi.
Yeah, it's because Jan is very nice. So I feel like I don't know lah, the bibik tu akan macam, oh sir is so nice gitu.
Kan you treat your employees right, the employees will treat you right.
Yeah. Tapi
But not for your case lah. You cannot.
Because I feel like kalau kita ada bibik kan, he will be the nice one, I will be the stricter one. So I dengar my mom selalu cakap gini, even if like macam in a marriage ke apa kan, my mom say macam biar the biar the husband tak suka, jangan the husband suka. Tu dangerous.
Tapi I suka semua benda.
Adaptable lah gitu.
Adaptable. Like, to me, we talk about adaptability. Growing up as well with a helper. I feel that my situation is such where if I don't like something, then I need to find a way to adapt around it. Pasal if I cannot change the situation, then how else would I be able to move forward? Takkan I want to hold resentment in my heart ke things like that. So naturally, no matter what the negative situation is, be it like kerja ke dengan kawan ke, I just like okay, then end of the day it's gonna end. I'm gonna go back home to my wife. Things like that lah. So that's why generally I'm like okay tak apa, which can be a detrimental thing juga lah.
I think it will take a lot of convincing, maybe months for me to be able to say okay, kita try. Susah, tak boleh lah.
Maybe Elia, you can share why
It's trying to convince me, is it?
How long dah convince?
Tak. We've never had this conversation before.
Yeah, because not that we require helper yet.
Correct. But when the time come when you need, probably you might reconsider the option lah.
Exactly.
Because considering that kita ni, okay, we talk about a whole scenario. Sekarang kita running outside in podcast kan. Kalau kita ada anak, macam siapa nak jaga?
Kita boleh try mama.
But age catching up also sometimes.
Okay, for me right, when they were small, I took care of them right. Bila diorang dah besar, I hantar them childcare.
Right.
Yeah, my first one I hantar macam just 3 hours. Then lepas tu the second and third, I realised okay, I better send them childcare. And then I realised right, they learn a lot more there, in childcare. They absorb a lot because they're there the whole day, right? So they learn a lot of things. Yeah, which for me I like lah. But it doesn't align with everyone's belief lah. You know, it depends on your choices.
I mean, they learn social skills and like interaction.
I can see the difference. Yeah.
For Leah pula, you mentioned you didn't want to send your child to childcare kan?
Pasal kadang-kadang I pass by, I tengok budak ni macam tak ada orang jaga. Serious, because like
they're different in whatever they've seen before, and then for Liza pula lain, you know.
Different environment lah. Dia nampak benda ni, Liza.
Because the childcare that I sent to so far, alhamdulillah, there wasn't any issue lah. Kalau ada issue, definitely I will change. You know, because of course there's horror stories macam gini lah. Don't just biarkan berapa banyak problem kan kat childcare.
I pass by like under the block, I think macam tak ada orang lain budak tu.
Macam
I have like that phobia. Kalau aku hantar macam mana ni?
But because teacher ratio is berapa je to kids, they cannot like layan 24 hours.
Correct.
Sometimes they will just leave the kids right. Then they do their own things. Then they attend to other kids. Yeah, so maybe they should increase more teachers.
I have no idea lah, but that's my thoughts lah. I mean,
you would prefer someone to be there for your child, looking after her needs, her or his needs.
That time one was my boy and my girl lah. After that,
Looking after their needs.
I ada soalan.
Yes, silakan.
For Leah, you pernah tak gaduh dengan husband you pasal baby?
I think sometimes they might be I think naturally I lagi more, for baby I more garang lah, macam I'm the one who instruct her what to do. Like I think men sometimes macam okay tak apa. I think yes, I have the same idea as you. Yeah.
If she can do it, so can you.
Still trying to convince
I think more of okay, we don't talk about helper in terms of kita punya production
in outside in helper okay.
Okay.
Macam editor ke, macam
Assistant lah.
Assistant.
Okay, betul.
Seorang
Cakap.
yang ya. Tapi in my home,
Tapi
touching
kita
my
kan
staff
kita kan home studio.
Itulah. Belum
pegang bukan pegang baju I, cucikan baju I.
Tu I buat. Tu I punya kerja, okay? I cop.
Tu I masih tak boleh lagi. Ya.
Right. You're still not open to opening your doors for someone to stay in your house.
Ya,
as a
tapi I dah
helper.
belajar. I tak boleh cakap no, I will never.
Pasal
Because kita tak tahu. Kita tak tahu apa
Correct.
yang so
macam dulu dia kata no, I don't want bad boy, dapat bad boy.
Lepas tu dia cakap nice kan sekarang.
nice.
Naughty boy. But I think definitely you can see lah, memang ada dia punya differences in terms of having a helper ke tidak. But even in the differences there are similarities. Kan? So maybe you can like what are your the things you want to share about having a helper yang mungkin kita sebagai first time orang yang belum ada helper, what are the things that we can look out for apart from the having more time with your husband, having more time with your kids and things like that.
Okay, so when you interview one, of course you interview a few lah. They will give you a biodata. So that's when you have that time I think more to Zoom ke. Dulu tak ada sangat WhatsApp call lah.
Okay.
It was Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was via Zoom. So from there you will narrow down. But there's such thing as they can come to Singapore already. There's some agency that can do that, and you can interview on the spot. That one also I did once before.
Okay.
That means the helper already in Singapore, but they don't have any employer yet. It's not transfer helper tau.
Okay.
It's not transfer helper.
So
It's
they come
fresh,
here-
but the agency, I think only a few agency in Singapore that can do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
apparently.
I've seen sometimes the time was at Bukit Timah punya mall. There's a few agencies, and then I think I see some helpers are dalam pakai uniform.
correct.
And duduk kat kerusi. Kadang-kadang dong lap tingkap.
That one can just hire them immediately, is it?
I don't think
I want
so.
you,
I
gitu
think
kan.
probably they already have their employer, but the employer belum ambil orang. Because in Singapore only a few that can bring in first.
Faham?
Yeah,
okay.
without having an employer punya nama yet.
Okay,
Yeah.
faham.
So really usually you will just get a biodata, gambar and
Correct.
a bit, then
Then
you
you-
interview through
yes,
Zoom
Zoom.
or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Macam speed dating juga kan.
Betul lah.
Kan?
But the one in Singapore already, when you go and interview them at the center itself, I mean Maid agency, that one different experience lah. Yeah, that one is one of my first time doing that. Other than that, all through biodata lah and Zoom call.
Okay, because I heard this right. Macam I pernah juga tanya, I think it was my cousin or something. I tanya dia, how do you actually choose? And then dia cakap, ada yang berlain-lain pandangan tau. Ada cakap yang, you should take someone who has a kid. So dorang tahu jaga anak. Ya. Tapi ada pula cakap yang jangan ambil yang ada anak sebab nanti dia macam
Fikir-fikir anak.
fikir-fikir anak je tak boleh fokus kat kerja. So your opinion kat macam mana?
My
Macam nak
thoughts
choose?
is some of them ada anak. Yeah, they have kids themselves. But sometimes nanti ada problem lah. Nanti anak diorang sakit ke apa ke, nanti diorang stress sendiri.
Yeah,
So it's like
work
additional
hazard lah.
burden for us. Like, dah lah aku nak suruh dia ni buat kerja, tapi dia tengah macam bad mood ke, macam tengah down ke. Adalah, there's pros and cons lah, definitely ya.
My friend pula bila dia nak hire a helper, dia kata tak boleh ambil yang lawa.
Standard.
Pasal wife dia sengaja pilih yang tak lawa. In their eyes lah.
Ada pun ada kadang yang apa jangan choose yang muda, choose yang tua-tua sikit.
Tapi tu sikit pun takut the speed of the work also might affect.
Yeah. So really
yeah, have to
goes
balance
down
lah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to very mature, sometimes you want 20 plus pun you takut main-main. So it depends on what you want. Criteria. Try to narrow down and hopefully get the perfect one lah, insyaAllah.
Like, dia macam it's a hit or miss lah.
Correct.
Kalau kita nampak dalam macam it's like hiring an employee tau. technically we're hiring an employee kan. Even for certain workplaces kita tengok CV dia baik, muka dia pleasant, interview pun boleh berbual baik, datang kerja habis tak ada kerja.
Betul lah.
Cannot work.
So it happens also. It's really in if you to look at it, we are technically hiring an employee that is going to be staying with you. So then kita cakap pasal employee welfare. Dia punya welfare dia berbeza as a you know as a apa nama dia nak cakap owner tak, bukan owner hirer of the helper.
Employee
of the helper. Employer. As an employer, kita kena jaga dia punya welfare, jaga tempat tidur dia, jaga makan minum dia.
Amanah juga.
Because I know from what I understand bila nak time bayar zakat, the employer kena tolong bayar zakat.
Is it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think this was what I heard when I was younger lah, time I muda. So I don't know whether it was true, but because they are technically living under our care in the house, so I tak tahu.
Kita tanya Ustaz.
Boleh.
Next
Ustaz dengar Ustaz kan? Nanti dia jawab.
Macam dulu my mother used to have a helper tau. She's quite big size. Then lepas tu the helper asked my mother to climb to pasang langsir. Boleh gitu. Because she said she is too short to reach. Then my mom cakap, that was the point of me hiring her. You're supposed to help me, not I help you. Not I jaga you, you jaga me.
How old was your mom then?
My mom that time was my mom tu lah about 72. Then she got leg problem. Then macam mana nak suruh orang tua tu naik? You know. So my mom change helper lah. Then alhamdulillah dapat
red flag.
Yeah. So she was there for like a few months and terus send home.
Right.
Send home ke send back agency?
Send back agency, I mean. Yeah.
Lia ada tak macam cerita-cerita macam ni? Yang you macam tak boleh brain, macam apa kau buat ni, astaghfirullah.
My mom dah tukar helper I think 3-4 times.
My one was quite a lot. Back then handphone tak common tau. Not every employer kasih. So normally dia orang akan curi-curi ada. Then that's why dia ni tak bangun. Tak bangun daripada like pukul 6 lebih tak bangun. 7 pun masih belum bangun. Then I was like something is like not right. But knowing it's like I think she's on the phone without me knowing she have her own phone
But
lah.
how's your relationship with your helper?
Okay lah.
Pasal cakap kalau macam like you are friend with the helper, then macam there's nothing to macam hide you see.
Nak cakap friend tak, definitely you have to have some boundaries. Takut kena makan jugalah. So kalau the time that I say you need to do your work, you have to do your work lah. But after that you want to rest 8 hours ke 9 hours sleep, that's the mandatory. Memang kena ada 8 hours rest lah. That's a must. That one you cannot abuse lah. I know some of them diorang complain diorang tidur 5 jam 4 jam ke. There's such complaints as well. So I know I give them a right amount of rest. I mean educate lah.
Because I think the most important, kita kena ingat dan kita semua ni govern under MOM.
Correct.
The rulings are there for us in place to ensure that kita punya employees or these helpers are not overworked and over abused.
Correct.
Kan? Which I think, I mean, of course kita dengar, we've seen news lah about all the different jangan cakap pasal helpers abusing the children. Kita pernah nampak helpers abusing elderly. Kita pernah nampak pula employers abusing the helpers. So it really is this kind of stories yang kita baca kat the news and all that really paints a variety of pictures for us to see tau. And dia memang kalau nasib you malang yang tak baik sangat, then akanlah ada cerita untuk share kat kita punya podcast nanti.
But your listeners, most of them got helper or?
We actually
tak tahu
had,
actually.
Tak tahu sangat.
We're not sure,
But almost all females lah. Majority females. Korang ada tak helper? Kita tanya sekarang.
But I think tak salah, I think someone actually did reach out to us about helpers.
Oh, is it?
Cuma kita pernah nampak, agaknya kita lupa nak reply kot.
Nanti insyaAllah kita reply. Sorry.
Yes, minta maaf.
Okay lah, kita bukan saja nak menakut-nakutkan atau nak apa ni, beritahu horror stories and all. This is just their own experiences that they have faced. And also again kita nak tekankan, bukan semua helper jahat, okay? Ada yang segelintir yang perangai lah, tapi ada yang kerja bagus, hormat. Macam kita boleh embrace dia as a family and dia tak macam take advantage.
Even a friend of mine has a helper. Then she's been around for quite a long time. And I think it's something that is really kita kena ingat And also sebagai seorang Muslim lah, kita kena ingatkan diri sendiri, kita kena selalu treat people like a human.
Yes, yes.
Treat people with kindness. InsyaAllah kita doa, kita tawakal, kita redha, dan diorang akan balas balik kita punya jasa yang baik, insyaAllah.
Yes.
So ni semua just sharing of experiences.
Betul. Yeah. So either you want to take a helper or not. From our sharing today, you can fikir sendiri lah what you need, what you are comfortable with. If your situation really requires you to have a maid, to have a helper, then go ahead lah, just usaha and just InsyaAllah dapat yang baik. Kalau tak pun macam tukar, then eventually you will get a good one, insyaAllah.
What works best for your family?
What works best
the
for
most, then the most important thing is you need to know exactly what is the requirement. Like, the factors of you choosing your helper. What is it you really need them for? Is it? Something like that lah.
Betul lah.
But tapi kalau korang nak beli rumah atau jual rumah, tak payah cari-cari, tak payah susah-susah fikir-fikir. Pasal kenapa? Sri Kandi ada.
Betul. Hubungilah Sri Kandi Associates di talian 87883559.
Yes, 87883559.
Betul. And guys, again, please follow them on Instagram at srikandi.associates.
Yes.
Okay?
So before we go kan, I nak tanya lah, if they contact you kan, what kind of help will you be from?
Diorang bukan agensi kan.
Diorang bukan agensi,
Diorang tak boleh bagi helpers kat you.
Salah sebut. Dah siapa apa. So what can our listeners be expecting from Sri Kandi? Maybe you can share a bit.
For consultation.
Property questions especially. Pasal ada macam kat my property page, and nanti some random person can just message you, asking for other things instead. Yeah, so of course we'll reply regarding property matters lah. So you need to filter out all these people as well. So please contact us for property matters only.
Kalau nak relationship matters, contact kita.
Yes.
Kalau nak property matters, contact Rika. Macam kita.
Sri Kandi, selling solutions, not promises.
So with that, let's wrap it up. We've come to the end of another episode of OUTSIDEIN.
If you like what you hear, please follow us on all our socials, TikTok, Instagram, Spotify and YouTube.
Share it for all of your friends and family members, so that if they really need to sell their house ke, beli rumah ke, nak upgrade ke, boleh juga contact Sri Kandi juga.
Betul.
Okay? And so that they can also learn something from our episode, insyaAllah.
Yes, until
Till next time. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.